insane down in the main lane.
Shock horror, amazing is there again for the Copenhagen Wolves.
Nip in all kinds of trouble. Cyanide picks it up with the spear.
It's Edward with first blood yet again.
So many kills coming down, and that is an ace.
The kick from Aaron Air forces him straight back. Creighton gets the kill. Gentlemen, to the European League of Legends Championship Series, broadcast to you live from our studio here in Cologne, Germany. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and alongside me is my co-host Trevor Quickshot Henry. And we are set to bring you a day jam-packed with matches as these teams try to fight their way up the standings.
Yeah, and with 6 games ahead of us, we expect to see the table change even more as we get closer to the end of the spring split.
But let's take a quick look back at yesterday as we recap the news from the European LCS. First up, well, Copenhagen Wolves, they are on an absolute streak right now. 5 games in a row without loss.
Yeah, and the Wolves have fixed all of the mistakes that we felt they had during the opening weeks of the split. Amazing has taken charge of the early and mid-game objectives, and as a team, the Wolves simply play incredibly safe. They do not put themselves in any high-risk situations, and this playstyle is allowing them to win consistently, not necessarily excitingly, but they're getting the wins. They're 5-0.
And Millennium, well, their ups and downs continue. They played 2 games yesterday. They lost to SK Gaming in a hard-fought match, but they beat the #1 seed, Roccat. Incredible game.
Yeah, now as a team, Millennium have continued to be inconsistent throughout the entire split. They lose games, they win infrequently, but at least they're able to show moments of brilliance. Unfortunately for the team, it is getting far too late in the day to have any more of these problems. And they need to step up, get their gameplay secure, and get back-to-back wins. They are the only team in the LCS that has not secured back-to-back victories throughout the entire split.
And we also want to look at the pick and ban trends that have been happening. These are the 5 most played champions so far in the European LCS.
Yeah, so in terms of numbers, right at the top there is going to be Illusion. He's been played 45 times. He's got a 49% win ratio. With that many picks, he's definitely the de facto AD carry. His support has been sitting with Thresh as well. 42 picks, 21 wins, 21 losses. Again, it is the support that is the least banned out because we see a lot of targeted bans in other champions. Moving on to next, we do want to talk about Renekton. Up in the top lane, it doesn't matter who else is there. Mundo's come and gone, Trundle is still there, Shyvana a little bit, etc. But Renekton stays true. Very good winning numbers as well, 58% and strong laning phase helping him out. Another AD carry in the top 5. This is not surprising, we see the least variance in this role. Caitlyn, once again, a big lane bully, a little bit less effective than Lucian. Now the final pick, Lee Sin, he's actually tied with Jinx in terms of picks, bans, and win ratio, but I really want to highlight Lee Sin because he's got a 60% win rate. When you consider most of the junglers are actually trending towards other picks right now. The utility that Lee Sin offers is still very good at all stages of the game.
And let's not forget the keyboard melting moments that had you guys marveling on Twitter yesterday. Here is your hashtag LCS big plays. Up first, well, it was during the Alliance versus Super Hot Crew game. This came in from @Daniel Solon. He says the amazing hook by Nif at 38 minutes totally turned it round. This was your 3rd most talked about play.
This is very risky. Wicked's going to get Mr. Ross.
Oh, look at that. The hook lands in as well from Nif. Ross is not escaping that one. Tabs going very aggressive at the start of things there. Lost a lot of HP, but that's what's setting up because Ross only had a chance. Flash hook in towards Boots. Here comes the rest of the team. Tabs will finish off with a 90 caliber net, and that is another 2 kills nicely picked up for Alliance.
I get a little bit excited when I see those hooks coming in, but you got to yell it. The hook, man.
I got to be honest, I was watching it upstairs in our room and I was just like, he's got flash, he's got flash, he goes for the flash hook. Amazing stuff. Fantastic start for Alliance yesterday. And of course, the next one, well, it came courtesy of Roccat versus Gambit. And this came in from @1312020. He said, if Vander's Lantern to save Selava after his GA popped at the end of that game isn't a hashtag LCS big play, I don't know what is. This was your second most talked about play. Can they catch on towards it? Diamond's the one that should be into the Baron pit, but instead he's going to assault battery. Sullivan's been caught out. Sullivan with the down behind him. They jump straight on towards him. Diamond is going to get taken down here. Sullivan's Guardian Angel has popped. The choppers are going to be straight on towards him. Lantern gets him away from it. Is it going to be enough? They can't get on towards him. Guardian Angel, but Alex is now being popped. They're jumping back and forth. They're going to try and chase back on. Alex is hooked in there, but nobody to follow through. Now they're going to get ace in the hole. Edward, oh, it's taken so low from this one.
The absolutely incredible thing is after the teams tried to kill you, not running out of oxygen, the fight carried on for another 45 seconds. They went back to the Baron. Gambit re-engaged when they not really should have. If you haven't seen that VOD, you have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, fantastic game yesterday. And of course, there's nowhere else to look, honestly, because that also came from this match was Alex Ich. He had an amazing triple kill. And this came in from @DQbesh, I think that's correct. You simply can't give Alex Ich Kha'Zix ever. He is a beast. And this was your #1 most talked about moment. God, Vander's going to be jumped on. Alex Ich gets himself the reset. He's trying to look for another juicy target. Will he get on towards him? Overpower so low, but he's going to have, and he gets on towards it, jumps towards Sullivan. Can he get in towards it? He's going to run away again. Darian running interference from the backside. He does. Jankos goes in there. Jankos, will he take him down? No. Alex Ich gets the kill. Gets another kill. It's a triple for Alex, and it's an ace for Gambit. What the hell just happened?
Now, what the hell just happened indeed? The audience behind us were going, ooh, for the second time. You can't give Alex Kha'Zix. That's simple. We'll have to see if he can get his hands on it now in the opening game of the day.
Should have had the Quadra. Stole by Genja.
Yeah, scumbag Genja. For you guys at home, remember to hop on Twitter and tell us what your favorite plays of the day were using that hashtag LCS Big Plays.
And now that you've seen the big plays, let's take a quick look at our table after the first day of this Super Week. Up at the top, well, it's Roccat. They had a great start, but a shaky end for sure. They are 11-7 right now, then tied in second place. Well, it's the first game of the day, isn't it? It's Gambit and SK, and SK really are on a tear right now. They are on a 4-game win streak. And then in fourth place, another team flying up the table is Copenhagen Wolves. They're on a 5-game win streak. Yeah, and they are looking incredibly strong. Now down the bottom half of the table, we have another tie, this time between Fnatic and the Superhot crew. 8 wins and 9 losses each. 7th position is Alliance at a 7-10 record, and sitting at the bottom of the table, it is Millennium. 6 wins and 12 losses. But that was then, and this is now. Here are the matchups for today, and they are sure to shake things up. We begin with Gambit versus SK Gaming, the battle for second place. So that's going to be a big game to start things off. And then the Copenhagen Wolves on an absolute mission right now. They're up against Alliance, who picked themselves up a win yesterday. And then the battle, they're tied in 5th place right now, Fnatic versus the Superhot crew. The second half of the day continues with both Gambit and the Copenhagen Wolves. Then it's Alliance versus Roccat, and we'll end the day with another Millennium game. This time they will be taking on Fnatic. And of course, after the European Challenger Series rolls into their quarterfinals, immediately following those LCS matches, it will be Cloud9 Eclipse taking on Departed, so make sure you stick around for those. Yeah, and between the schedule, stats, and more, there's a lot to keep track of. And thankfully, you can find all that information over at lolesports.com, as well as the VODs of past games and much more. Yeah, while you're there, you can also pick your winners for today's matches. Just go to the schedule link and then click on the thumbs up next to your choices. Plus, you can also find out how to join us here in person for these matches live in Cologne, Germany. Just visit that tickets link for all the necessary details. And whether you're here in the studios or watching at home, you can always participate with us on Twitter. Today, we'd like you to tell us which European LCS team has the strongest duo lane and why. I think I have to say Candy Panda and Rated. I think it's a tough question to answer because we have some really good duos in Europe, but Candy and Rated often win their lane matchups that they aren't necessarily supposed to win or in their favor. They've also got great synergy. For you guys at home, share your thoughts with us and be sure to send those suggestions to @LOLesports. And for this time, use the hashtag LCS. We'll pick our favorite responses, and Shox will be reading them later in the show. And for now, let's send it over to Shox, who is standing by with 2 pros who will be going head-to-head later today.
Thank you very much, D-Man and Quickshot. I'm Eva, Shock supporter, and I'm joined by Alliance's Fragen and Powtard, of course, from the Copenhagen Wolves, the 2 mid laners. Now, I don't want to talk too much anymore about yesterday's game because we already talked to you and Youngbuck, but we do remember that the game versus Fnatic, it was really close. So what was kind of the general team talk going on at night about that game?
Well, we were pretty happy that we actually won, so there was not much to critique to ourselves. We did notice some problems. And obviously, we're going to try to avoid them again.
Obviously. Froggen, of course, you guys yesterday, the first game versus the Super Hot Crew. Not to say that the Super Hot Crew is not a good team, but you guys didn't have the hardest time versus them. What was kind of the game like from your perspective?
Basically, we just wanted to stop bot lane from snowballing, and we did that pretty successfully, and basically just played 3 versus 3 in the top part of the map, and that won us the game.
All right, so a good start for both of you coming into Super Week. What are the most realistic goals for you guys? Is it winning every single game in the Super Week if you see what you've got coming up, which is Alliance, Gambit, and the Super Hot Crew?
Well, if we keep our playstyle that we did the last weeks, I honestly think we can go 4-0.
All right, so what you then have to do is beat Froggen later on. Froggen, first off, what do you think of the mid lane matchup versus Kautar? You've played it a couple of times already, of course.
Yeah, I think in general, the mid lane champions right now we're both playing is pretty farm heavy. So it's probably going to be a lot of farm and then objective control that has to win the game.
What about you versus Froggen? Are you afraid of anything when you go in lane versus him?
Well, he's very strong mechanically, and I'm afraid of getting a bad matchup against him, because he will capitalize on my mistakes. Other than that, if we get in an even matchup, I agree, it will be farm heavy and the team play overall.
All right, very interesting matchup coming up for you guys. If you take it a little bit to a broader perspective, you kind of have two different stories going on. And Youngbuck actually said yesterday, I'm not afraid to say it anymore, we can get first and we want to go for first. Do you share that sentiment?
I said from the start, the goal is obviously to get as high as possible. So number one is goal, but we're happy getting top 4. That's the first goal we set up when coming into LCS, and I'll stick by that.
Okay, and Froggen, for you guys, it's kind of a different story. You guys are second to last now, and this is, of course, your project, the Alliance team. Is relegation something you're fearing? Because we're pretty far in the spring split. Is that something you think about at all?
Not really, because the standings right now, there's like one match in between every single team pretty much. So let's say we go 3-0 here, then we would be like in the top side of the bracket. So it's not really worrying me too much.
All right, so one very big matchup we've got coming up here today is also SK versus Gambit, our first game of the day. SK been doing incredibly well. Kautar, who do you think will take this one?
Honestly, I think SK will. They've been doing so good lately, and Gambit has been looking a little weak, so I'll give it to SK.
Froggen?
I agree. I think SK will take the victory.
All right. Were you surprised at all that SK is doing that well?
I am surprised about it, yeah. But I also think they've been practicing really, really hard, and their hard work is paying off.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and good luck, of course, in your matchup later. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it's time for us to kick things off with a tiebreaker between the second-place teams Gambit and SK Gaming. Don't go anywhere.